Hello folks, this is going to be an Ink Dependence brief review and water test of Franklin-Christoph's Syrah. I did get a hold of a bunch of Franklin-Christoph nibs for my Collegia pen, which is this guy right here, and so I got to try this out with a whole bunch of things pretty easily. Here are a few of those nibs. I've got a broad, I've got an extra fine, I've got a medium, I've got a broad stub, and let's see, what is this? That's the broad. And then I tried it in my Conklin Crescent with a 1.1 stub nib. I've had it in my Lamy Vista with a medium nib, and it's worked out pretty well in all of these. I'm not a huge fan of the extra fine nib, but it's probably not Franklin-Christoph's fault. That's really kind of mine. I don't write well with them. I mean, you can see, well, here, this part where I describe the flow and bleed. It's just, it's too thin and spidery for me. It makes my writing look terrible. You know, a nice big nib, and it kind of makes up for a lot of my flaws. So you can see that this is actually a really nice, deep, awesome red. It's kind of like a deep maroon, maybe, kind of a Syrah. It's a wine color. So there's that. Performs well in all of these nibs, on the medium, on the broad. And the broad is big and wet, and it really shows off the color. Let's see if I can get this to focus a little bit better. There we go. And you can see that it does shade some. Of course, this is a Rhodia pad that I'm working on, so that's going to help with the shading. But nonetheless, there you are. I also did a little bit of rough chromatography type stuff. This is just a coffee filter, basically, with a drop of ink, and then you you dip it in some water and just kind of wait, and it pushes the colors up in bands. So you can see the Syrah has a bunch of different interesting colors in there, from reds to purples to that really nice blue Corona. In fact, I've got the other one sitting here that I've done recently as well. This is dark denim from Franklin-Christoph as well. You can see that's mostly dark denim, which is kind of interesting. And then Old Emerald, which also has a really cool blue tinge up at the top. You can see it kind of stuck down here. You can see where I actually put the splotch of ink. On some of these others, you can't actually see it at all. So you know, this kind of has the same sort of blue Corona. So that's interesting. These are really related inks. All right. So let's try this out here with some water. This is Syrah on a different sort of paper. This is the Anderson Pen Company's paper that I got. I wanted to try it out on here. I haven't done any water tests on this paper yet, so this will be a first. I do have a Franklin-Christoph pad, one of these fun sort of small pads with the corners lopped off, but I haven't gotten a chance to use it much. I'll try that out here in a bit. Alright, so here we go. Let's do a little bit of a water drop test. Here's our trusty syringe. This paper does soak up the water or the ink pretty well, so I'm not sure what it's going to do with water. Well, it looks like it's kind of holding on pretty well. Check that out. Alright. Well, I wrote this yesterday, I believe. You can see the water pushed some of the ink through. This paper is pretty heavyweight stuff, so you see a few dots here where I swatched it. That's not going to be unusual. This is with a broad nib mostly, so you see a little bit of ghosting through the paper since it's on a light background and all, but overall pretty well. And actually this did surprisingly well. It's kind of set for a day, but very little of it came off. You can see a bit of smearing here, but here where I dropped the water the most, not bad. Kind of stuck. So this is way more water resistant than I thought it was going to be, at least on this paper. If you were to do it on Rhodia, I bet more of it would come up, just because that's kind of the way it goes. One final note about Syrah, and that's that it does tend to dry out in your nib. If you leave your pen sitting with Syrah in it, you'll lose this color, this kind of deep wine color, and you'll end up with a pen that's kind of hard to start, and it gives you kind of a gray-brown. I don't remember where I put that, but I'll have some pictures up on the blog of that color. But rest assured, it's not going to hurt your pen or anything like that. It does clean up pretty easily. So all I did was just wrote a bit with the pen, and it comes back to the red reasonably quickly. But it is best when fresh. So if you have a wet pen, great. Use this ink for sure. It has a sort of a medium wet flow, but it can be a hard starter, which is kind of interesting. Well, not interesting in a good way, I suppose, but nonetheless, really like Syrah. Check this out from Franklin-Christoph's offerings. Forgot to get the bottle out before. Here we go. This is the bottle that it comes in. You can see I've actually used quite a lot of this ink already. It was filled more or less to the brim, but here it is down to here-ish already. So I've used this ink quite a lot because I like it. But check this one out from Franklin-Christoph. I believe it's like $12.50 a bottle. Go check their website for this ink. Alright, that's it. See you later. Bye.